The first episode of Book of Boba Fett has been released. How did the premiere episode of everyone's favorite, or now maybe second favorite Mandalorian bounty hunter, fare? This is Exasperated Nerd Explains. It starts out with a scene fans have been dying to see since 1983, and that's Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc.
After a beat, the gloved Mandalorian armor gauntlet of Boba Fett grabs onto the sand outside the Sarlacc pit.
I understand it is hard to convey, but I do think the scene could have been a little longer or detailed. It was very compelling, and I liked it a lot, but it literally looks like he just used fire to burn it a bit and crawled out. It was a good scene to include, but this timeline really could have ended when the Tusken Raiders showed up. It really answered the main questions we had about how he survived and the fact that he had a gaffy stick when he showed up in Mandalorian. I think we all assumed he ended up living with the Tuskens in the intervening years. I'm not saying I dislike the flashback scenes, but it makes the first episode rather slow since you're setting up the status quo for two timelines simultaneously, pulling double duty and setting up the situation with separate characters, problems, and setups for future payoffs that need introduced. Obviously, the mayor of Mos Espa and the gang of raiders in the Dune Sea will come back as conflicts in this series. They may even wind up tied together in some way as one conflict, since the mayor obviously has some criminal ties, demanding tribute from Boba Fett. This dual setting leaves little meat in this episode for actual development or showcasing of the character. It had a lot of busy work and ground to cover, which I'm sure will be important to the series, but it is not as satisfying as, say, the first episode of The Mandalorian. And look, I know obviously it's the same team that gave us Mandalorian, which is the best Star Wars in years, but I can still be a little bit critical. I know one concern certain fans had is that the show is going to make Boba Fett too nice. With most of the expanded universe not canon though, we had more time with Boba Fett in Mandalorian than we did in the original trilogy. The character is already being redefined by those appearances, but other than having a code of honor where you repay the debts you swore, there really hasn't been anything else in regards to his motivation. Why exactly does he want a criminal empire now? He seemed rather ruthless in his execution of Bib Fortuna, but now seems pretty merciful, both in sparing the Gamorrean guards and not killing the child during his failed escape attempt. Though also less so in battle.
I do not torture.
Respectfully, Lord Fett.
Also, he does not want to torture, and he's got a servant droid that just loves torture. Plus, Fennec Shand is always recommending a more ruthless approach. They could use these two timelines to establish that he was more ruthless when he first met the Raiders, but then kind of settle down a bit, or maybe his experiences make it clear why he wants to lead a criminal empire instead of operating solo as a bounty hunter. It may be that living with the Tusken Raiders made him want respect. That was the first time he had really been a part of something and wants that in his new criminal empire. Though he obviously has some long-term effects from the Sarlacc, or maybe just the hard living on Tatooine, looking at you, Obi-Wan, he certainly held his own in Mandalorian and could have resumed bounty hunting instead of venturing into being an out-and-out crime lord. I hope these motivations become clear as the series goes on, as I have high hopes and expectations having been a fan of the character for decades now. I think it's off to a good but not great start, and look forward to the next episode. That's all for today. What did you think of the premiere? Am I being too harsh on it? What did you enjoy most? Was it the Exploding Assassin? It was the Exploding Assassin, wasn't it? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel to see more Boba Fett or Star Wars content. Bye!